So the lights are back on here in Odessa on the shores of the Black Sea. Just a quick update video about what life is like here in the winter. We don't have any snow on the ground yet. It is December, and it should be actually December 18th already, 17th. It is December 17th. Just had another air alert go off. And since Friday evening, there have been almost no electricity in the city of Odessa. Russia had their biggest rocket and drone, kamikaze drone attack on this city since the beginning of the invasion. So I guess it was the biggest aerial bombardment of the city since World War II. And it took a few days for it to start to be repaired, but there is electricity, not all the time, but in short bursts in the city center. Mine came on in the middle of the night, so I went and put on my laundry for the first time since, I guess since Thursday, which was a bit of a relief. So if you are thinking of coming to Ukraine, in particular to Odessa, where I am right now, in the next, say, month or so, be prepared for sporadic blackouts. You will have electricity, presumably, you will get back up to at least 50% of the time, and eventually back to 100% if we don't suffer another aerial attack like on Friday evening. Russia has been trying to take out the lights here in Ukraine in the winter of 2022, 2023, 2024, and now winter 2025 going into 2026. The situation was worse. The first winter, Ukraine wasn't as prepared for these blackouts, but now they have systems in place to at least repair the damage as quickly as possible and design different strategies to make it harder for Russia to keep blowing it up. The strategy is to try to put psychological pressure on the Ukrainian population that they either abandon Ukraine or that they're more willing to make compromises, well, basically capitulate to Russia. However, historically, this has not worked very well in history as a strategy, but Russia has employed it also in Syria during the Syrian civil war. And from what I can see here in Ukraine, also when you look at the polling data, it doesn't seem to have weakened significantly the Ukrainian resolve to continue to resist Russian aggression and fight for their independence from Moscow completely. They officially had independence, of course, from 1991 on paper, recognized across, by the UN and across the world, and even by Russia several times. We had the Budapest Memorandum in 1994, but yeah, now since 2014, they don't seem to respect international law and the borders that they agreed on. So if you come here, presuming that you're from an allied country with Ukraine, so say you're coming from North America or Western Europe or somewhere else, that you have visa-free every 90 days, every 180, then you come, you have your passport, that should be all you need to enter. There are buses from the airport in Chisinau, for example, or you can go if you're to a Polish city or Hungarian city and then come across more in the west of Ukraine. And when you get here, everything should pretty much work. Cards, electricity when it's on, but heating, water, unless you have a crisis situation like we did on Friday and was out for a few days. I did have a client who came here when he came yesterday, so he actually delayed it by a day or two just to be here when things were more repaired. I think you can probably just hear the siren, the alert. That's interesting that it's gone off again. So your card should work, restaurants are open, cafes are open. It's Christmas time is coming up. There are all the decorations in the center here. Many of the cafes and restaurants have Christmas themes. Everybody's getting ready for it. Officially now in Ukraine, Christmas is celebrated only on the 25th of December. It is unofficially celebrated also in parts of Ukraine in January using the old calendar. And you will also have to deal with curfew in most of Ukraine, so from midnight to 5 a.m. You will not be allowed to be on the street without due cause. So, for example, your bus comes in late, then you're going to the hotel or your apartment that you've rented online with your suitcase at 3 a.m. I think that's going to be fine. That's a justification, obviously, if you arrive late. And everything will be closed anyway, so you don't really have much reason to be out of the street after midnight. So other than that, and of course the Russian drone and rocket attacks which afflict the city and much of the country almost on a daily basis for sure, somewhere it's going on. Everything else will be functioning And yeah, it's good news that we have electricity again to a certain extent in the center of Odessa. Just wanted to update you on that development that, for me at least, being here is quite a good thing to see after a few days without it. So if you are coming here to Ukraine, I do have a guide that will walk you through the logistical information, how to stay as safe as possible. You should not be coming here obviously naively and not understanding that there is, of course, a risk. This is the biggest war in Europe since World War II, and whilst we are a long way from the front lines and the statistical chance of being in the wrong place at the wrong time is low, you need to be cognizant of that, take it into account, and also the psychological impact of coming here and having air alerts and maybe something blowing up close to you that might have on you. Also, I have my hospitality guides for cities like here in Odessa, Mama, Kyiv, the capital, Lviv in the west, Chernovtsi in the west, and Uzhhorod. Those are the most popular cities to come to in Ukraine. So you can go and grab that down below if you are planning to come here. I also have it for neighboring Moldova. Maybe I also put that down in the description as well. I'll drop it down there because obviously if you're going to fly into Chisinau, you want to check out magical Moldova as well. So I'm going to leave it like that. Some bright news on an otherwise, well, cloudy day here in Odessa. Do pobачення and do перемоги.